Okay, I am back again. Next up in the IMDb Bottom 100 is yet another movie with a whole bunch of alt titles. On Mystery Science Theater 3000, it was known as Cave Dwellers.
Cave Dwellers, wasn't he in...
Cave Dwellers. Oh, it's the name of the movie.
And then among a whole lot of alternate titles, it is either called Ator or just The Blade Master, or Ator the Blade Master. One of those. I think most people know it as Cave Dwellers because of MST3K. This is, honestly, it's a pretty fun bad movie, particularly with the riff. I watched it unriffed as well, which was just miserable. But I watched it riffed and it was much easier to focus on. This is one of those interesting movies where without a comedy track on it, it is so dull. Which brings us to the first problem with this is the pacing. I don't know why the pacing is so bad in this, but you can tell, like, there's one particular actor who plays as the wise one, who's the father of the female lead and is, like, Ator's old, like, mentor or whatever, and his pauses and... Oh, he's so bad.
What do you say to that?
I say, you could drive a Mack truck through your cues. Tempo, pick it up!
It's so bad, and he drags everything down around him. But yeah, the whole movie feels like it needed to be cut more. It just drags badly, and is very slow. So in general, I don't recommend it without the riff, just because of how much it lags. There are fun bits in there, for sure. There are some great fun bits in this movie, but without the riff, it drags too much. It's kind of, I guess this is supposed to be like a Conan knockoff sort of thing. That's the best I can figure. Ator, I think it's unclear, like, some of the alt titles of this label it Ator 2. I think there is another Ator movie, but I don't know if it came before or after this. Like, Ator... something... I don't know. I don't know if this is a series of movies or what, and I really don't care to find out. So, as I mentioned, really bad pacing and some really bad acting. The guy who plays Ator is pretty, like, great. He doesn't really have to do much. He needs to be able to beat stuff up, and he needs to look good. And he looks great. He looks like the perfect sort of Conan cut looking dude. His outfits look a little ridiculous with the sort of fuzzy boot shoe things. I don't even know.
Come on, those moon boots went out in the 70s.
I also, probably the thing I like best about this particular movie is the bad guy. The primary bad guy, I don't even remember the guy's name. He wears a helmet that looks like a bird.
You know that hat has a slimming effect on you?
Which is hilarious. He also has, like, the classic villain stash and long, like, black hair. And he is, like, playing up that villain role. And that's one of my favorite things that can, like, salvage really bad movies, is when the villain really is playing it up to the mustache twirlingest sort of extreme. And he's definitely doing that. Some other things that are actually good in this movie involve a hang glider and some bombs. They're never said when Ator crafts these bombs, but he sure does drop a bunch of bombs onto a fortress.
Oh, come on.
What the...
Okay, so he kills a deer, he tans the hides, he stretches the skins, he makes an anodized aluminum frame, he learns how to extrude and weld all in about 5 minutes, huh?
All right, you crummy rats. Henry Kissinger says Merry Christmas!
So, might as well get into some of the plot stuff. The ancient elder has a daughter, and he realizes some evil dude is coming to take shit over. So he's like, daughter, go find this dude named Ator, who's supposedly all cool and stuff, who might have been in a previous movie, who lives at the end of the earth.
When you seem to have reached the ends of the earth,
Ask for
and
Earl.
it seems that nature herself declines to accompany you any further on your journey, then you will have reached the domain of Ator.
And just as he has told his daughter this, the dude invades and shit goes down, and she runs away and finds Ator. Ator's just chilling at the end of the earth with his buddy, and immediately he's like, oh, okay, I'll fix this then. And stuff happens. It kind of turns into an adventure sort of thing. They wind up stopping by, I remember, Ator's, like, home village, where stuff is bad, I guess. Gosh, that bit's pretty hard to remember. I do remember that they get captured and given to the bad guy in a sort of weird exchange thing, and they're going to be sacrificed to a snake god, which involves being dropped into a pit of snakes that growl.
Oh, wait a minute, folks. We have snakes growling here.
Which is hilarious. Yeah, so that bit's pretty great. Eventually, they do escape. I don't remember exactly how. Ator is all clever and stuff and gets out. I think that's when they escape, and then they siege the main bad guy's place via hang glider. Yeah, there's some fun bits to this, but even a movie with all of the best B-movie, like, silliness is going to be drugged down by bad pacing, and boy does this have that. The MST3K version is really weird because of the alt title. The way they did the alt title is that they covered up like a third of the screen to put the alt titles up there, which is super weird. It wasn't on my my unriffed copy.
Guys.
Oh, this must be in shoebox format here.
Yeah.
But it's very strange. It's so just amateurish, I guess. The fight choreography is also really bad. Just the general cinematography and stuff for an action movie is not very good.
Come over here, my dear.
Where the camera moved
There's
to.
something I
Over
must
here.
show you.
None of the fights feel like tense or anything. There's not a lot of cuts or shots. So even stuff that would have otherwise been pretty great is not. Really, this one's probably worth looking up the highlights from MST3K. That's probably the way to go with it. Particularly anything with the bad guy, who is just a great mustache twirling bad dude with that ridiculous helmet and all. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot to say about it. Ator wins. Spoilers. And then I guess goes back to the end of the world. And then there's a weird sort of shoehorn message about nuclear arms. I feel like that's what it was. The wise dude is trying to hide some sort of super weapon from getting in the hands of the bad dude. And I guess they're trying to allude that that super weapon was some sort of nuclear power in this ancient world of sticks and swords. Whatever. It's pretty heavy-handed as far as, like, allegories go. And it basically ends with a sort of Dr. Strangelove-esque warning about misusing nuclear power, which really feels like it's out of nowhere.
Well, this is neat, but what the heck does it have to do with the movie?
But anyway, that's Ator, or the Blade Master, or Ator the Blade Master, or whatever the hell else all these titles are.
Out of the fiery womb of the earth, Ator, the invincible. The power incarnate that alone can withstand the forces of darkness, blindly determined to destroy the life-giving light. Invincible Ator, holding the fate of all mankind in his mighty hands. Dedicated body and soul to the defending of the new magic of science. Miles O'Keefe is Ator, the invincible, disseminating terror, arousing the barbaric hatred of those who seek to perpetuate the age of idolatry, those whose ruthless aim is to suppress man's innermost yearning for freedom. Miles O'Keefe is Ator, the invincible conqueror of the skies. Ator, a man who tasted the immense power and vision of being a god, whose heart alone is vulnerable. The timeless legend of Ator, the invincible. Ator, the invincible. Invincible against the monstrous fury of nature. Invincible against the powers of darkness. Invincible against the strength and guile of men. Miles O'Keefe is Ator the Invincible.